Now at 86 years old, pensioner Mary Morley hoped that her savings would carry her through to the end of her life. That was until her local council demanded that she pay £28,000, all for saving too much of her pension.
It's heartbreaking to think about, isn't it? After losing an appeal against the decision, we're joined by Mary's granddaughter, Mafalda Johnson, and alongside financial expert Victoria Bischoff. Welcome to both of you. Thank you for coming.
Morning.
When I read this story, Mafalda, I couldn't quite believe the situation that your grandmother's found herself in.
It's heartbreaking.
It really
is.
It's truly heartbreaking.
Just explain what had happened and how she got herself into the situation.
So she retired in 1998. She was 65, and before that she'd worked her whole life. And even after that she was volunteering in care homes and things like that. She had no money at all, nothing to her name, maybe a few £100s. She was getting her pension and things like that. She saved £50 a month from it for 20 years, and the council were not monitoring it properly. They'd made numerous errors, and she'd saved this money, which ended up amounting to £32,000, which we were also surprised of. We didn't think she had any money at all.
She hadn't told any of you that...
She hadn't told any. She's fiercely private. She's very independent. She's been on her own for a long time. She doesn't want to be a burden on anyone, so she would never talk about finances or anything like that. Even when this all came to light, she didn't tell any of us it had happened because my dad had been on holiday and I had a 6-month-old baby. So she didn't want to be a burden on us, even when people were knocking on the door demanding thousands of pounds back.
So so suddenly she has to bring it to the family's attention.
Exactly. So she brought it to my dad first, but she waited until he'd come back from his holiday. So he was, he just keeps saying, he wished he could have protected his mum.
Of course.
I mean, that's how we all feel. She's just...
And it's truly reflective of that generation as well.
They're silent.
To, be a burden on
exactly
their
on
family,
anyone.
on
anyone. I mean, the whole reason that she saved the money in the first place was it wasn't so that she could leave it to us. It wasn't so she could go on a big cruise. It was so that she wouldn't be a burden on our local authority, so that she could afford care in her older age, which she now needs. And she's exactly in the position she didn't want to be in, is that she needs her local authority to provide that for her.
So they've said, obviously, she'd saved £32,000, and then Mary your grandmother was contacted by Huntingdon District Council in January, who decided that they're going to stop her housing benefit and council tax altogether, and then demanded that she owed £28,000 in overpaid benefits.
Yes.
I mean, it just seems extremely unfair. They have said, they did leave a statement and they said, I'm just trying to find that now, where is it?
Here you go. Mrs Morley's case was brought to the council's attention by the DWP. Investigations which highlighted financial irregularities and therefore overpaid benefits. Whilst we understand and sympathise with the stressful and delicate nature of Mrs Morley's situation, we must continue our statutory duty to recover funds overpaid in order to correctly allocate public funds to people who meet the strict eligibility requirements.
I think what's worse is about their statement is that they say that they understand her situation. This is a woman who has gone from somebody who loves spending time with 4 great-grandchildren. She's got 5 grandchildren. She's got 2 sons. She loves being in her garden. She's got incredible neighbours next door. And all of us have seen her deteriorate over the last 18 months. So she is literally a shell of the moon. She's been on antidepressants. She just is a totally different person.
To be taking nothing more than she was entitled to, but just being incredibly careful with it, to suddenly have it all taken away from her.
So I think this is the thing. So this woman, she's not lied on any forms. She didn't have any savings when she signed up for the benefit. And she's frugally saved a small amount from her state pension every month. And then 20 years later...
It seems a careful, smart thing to do.
And pensions are some of those frugal savers there are.
And also what you're told to do. I think that's...
And that's just how you're conditioned, aren't you?
Exactly.
You should save, spend a bit, save a bit.
Victoria?
So there are strict rules around who can claim benefits. And I think rightly so. You can't have people with vast amounts of savings claiming benefits. They're intended for the most vulnerable of people. But that's not what's happened here. She didn't have vast amounts of savings when she signed up. So I think the problem is the rules are so confusing, they're baffling, and they're different for every different benefit.
It all seems a bit grey.
And I think so when people say, why didn't she declare them? She probably didn't even know that she had to. I think, as you said, she didn't even know how much.
So what's your advice to anybody who might find themselves? Because there's 27 people that have been highlighted in the same situation. What's your advice to people this morning?
So I think knowing the crucial cut-off limit of 16,000 is a really good start. If you're in any doubt as to whether you might be nearing it, check with your bank or wherever your savings are. And I think also call the council, ask them what the rules are, ask a friend to help you with that if needed. But I think the key message for me is, please don't be put off saving, because that's the conflicting message from this story. And that would be a terrible thing, because it is so important to have money aside for a rainy day.
Undoubtedly. Thank you both for coming in. Send your grandmother our love. I can't quite imagine what she's going through. It must be so heartbreaking for all of you.
Very.
But we're
Send her
thinking
our
about
love. Thank you very much.